Hi, web leaders. I'm looking forward to your first lesson, which is coming up this Wednesday, and wanted to just review with you what the lesson would look like. I know some of you are not able to attend our review sessions, so hopefully this video is helpful to you. So when you come in from your fourth period class and you go to the sixth grade advisory, I want you to make sure that you're wearing your web shirt and that you're out in the hallway at first just greeting the sixth graders, giving them high fives, smiling, welcoming them to the classroom, and make sure as they're coming into the classroom to tell them that they'll need a pen or a pencil just so that they're all ready to go. The classroom does not have to be set up into a circle of chairs or desks and chairs. You can keep the classroom as is, and you can work with them just standing in the front of the classroom. I know that's a little bit different this time around. And otherwise, again, just being really happy that they're there. And as soon as the bell rings, then you are going to want to close the door to your MA. Now, once the door is closed and everyone's there, you are going to want to quickly reintroduce yourself and make sure to get everyone talking. So maybe just asking them to give one word as to how the year has gone so far for them. You can make this really fast, it should be just 15-20 seconds for them to say a word and tell you how everything's been going. Once that's done, you're going to go ahead and pass out a word search, and the word search has 2 slides. It looks like this. You're going to start with A Bug's Life, which is side 1. You're going to hand it out to them, and you're going to tell them that they have 30 seconds to find as many words as possible, and then you're going to track that time. So track it exactly 30 seconds. And as soon as they're done, start talking with them about the activity. Process it with them. How did they feel? What was that like? What made them feel maybe pressured or stressed as they were trying to search for the words? Really talk with them. Try to engage as many students as possible. Even if you get the same answer from multiple students, that's okay. Just get them all talking if you can. And then after that, you're going to have them flip over to the other side. It's called B words, and it's side 2. And you're going to, this time around, give them 2 minutes to complete this side and find as many words as possible. So again, I want you to track it exactly 2 minutes and have them do the activity. And afterwards, talk to them about it. What was that like? How was it different? Maybe ask them to compare the first side versus the second side, and ask them, was it more words that you could find or less words that you could find? The exact number doesn't matter, but the whole idea is that they would find more words on the second side. How did they feel? Were they less stressed, less pressured? Talk with them about what created that sense of less pressure or less stress. Was more time offered? Was that better for them? So again, engage as many students as possible in that discussion. The discussion is so important to this lesson. And then after that, ask them to relate it to homework. Something like you could say, well, what about with homework? When we feel less pressured and we feel less rushed and we're taking our time, what's homework like? What does that look like for them? And get as many answers as possible from them. I would imagine there are going to be students who will say things like, well, our grades are lower if we're feeling rushed and we're maybe skipping questions, and so we're not getting it all done in time or in the quality that we want. And then what I want you to do is I want one of the web leaders to convey a story about a time when you were rushed or pressured to get something done, and what was the outcome of that. So again, make it very personal, be vulnerable. We talked about that during our training. Show them that you're not perfect and that sometimes, you make bad decisions, and look at what happens when that occurs. So do convey that story to them, let them see that you're not perfect. And then you're going to explain that today we're going to be talking a lot about managing our time so that we're not rushed, we're not pressured, and we want to manage that time related to homework and studying, not just today, but every single day in order to be successful in our 6th grade year. And so at that point, you're going to hand out this worksheet, and it's got 2 sides to it. You're going to start with the side that says making time. And what they're going to see is on one side of it, it lists all of the different homework assignments that they have and how much time each of the assignments will take. And so everyone has the same amount of time, which is 90 minutes. And then what I want you to ask them to do is to, in the middle column, to list the things that they need to do on any given night. Give them examples, 1 or 2 examples to work with, like I need to eat dinner, or maybe I need to go to soccer practice, and then have them give examples as well. Try to engage those students in the conversation. And they can list 1 thing that they need to do, or maybe 5 different things that they need to do. After they complete the middle column, I want you to ask them to prioritize each item that they need to do, as well as to give an approximate amount of time to complete that task. So once they do that, give them a little bit of time to do that. Once they do that, they're going to list on the right column the things that they would like to do. And again, try to get them to answer the question, what's the difference between things that we need to do versus things we would like to do? And it could be things like, watching TV, hanging out with friends. Get them answering these questions. And if you need to, give them examples to prompt them. They're going to do the same thing when they list the things that they would like to do. They're going to prioritize them, and then they're also going to list approximately the amount of time it would take to complete each task. And then at that point, you're going to have them flip over to the other side where it says a weekly study plan. And I want you to point out that there's 5 days of the week listed on this plan, and they're going to choose 1 day to plan. Have them choose their busiest day typically. They might not necessarily know just yet because it's so early in the school year, but have them plan just one of those days. Again, typically their busiest day. And they're going to notice on the side here that the time starts at 3 o'clock, which is right after school, and then it ends at 9 o'clock at the end, at the bottom. Now they might go to bed a little bit later. If that's the case, they can write their bedtime on the bottom. But it runs from 3 to 9, and it's in half-hour increments. So the first thing that you're going to want them to write is how they might get home, because that might be the first half hour. So whether it's a bus, or they're picked up, or they walk home, they're going to write that into the box for that first half hour. And then what you're going to ask them to do is you're going to ask them to plan out the night. So the first thing they're going to list is the things that they need to do, that middle column. They're going to include it in their weekly study plan. So give them some time to complete that. And you can walk around the classroom. I encourage both web leaders to walk around the classroom and see how the students are doing in completing this task. And then once they do that, then what they're going to do is they're going to fill in homework time. So again, they have 90 minutes of homework, and they're going to fill that into their weekly study plan for that one day. Once they do that, that's when they can put in the things that they want to do, that they would like to do into their day and their schedule. Now, what they're going to find, and this is, again, a way to process this activity afterwards, they're going to find that some students were able to fit everything in, and that's great. Other students were not. They had to sacrifice some things that they would like to do. Talk with them about that. Maybe they do have to sacrifice an hour's worth of TV time. Maybe it ends up only being a half hour. Or maybe they have to sacrifice hanging out with friends, But you can reinforce the idea that maybe at soccer practice they are with their friends, so they're still kind of having some time with their friends at least. So explore that with them, talk with them about it, try to get multiple people answering those different questions. And then after that, you're going to notice that on the yellow sheet of paper, it is 3-hole punch. So ask them to put that right into their binders. The crossword puzzles or the word searches, they can keep that if they want, or they can recycle it. It doesn't matter. But this plan they can utilize at any point throughout the year. Even actually, if they want to, use it every single day to take 10-15 minutes just to plan out their night. Might help them to feel less stressed, more relaxed, and more prepared for the night. So do have them put it into their binders and utilize that if they want to. And then at that point, you're going to find that you're very close to or right at the end of the period. And so you don't need to reconfigure the classroom because you're not moving anything, but you are going to want to put any extra supplies back into the supply bag and make sure that you're saying goodbye to them once the bell rings, you're giving them high fives, you're smiling again, you're being actively present with them, and then be the last to leave. Make sure that you are. Your 8th grade teachers will know that you're going to be maybe 30 seconds to a minute late after this advisory, so not to worry. And then at that point, I just want you to make sure that any extra supplies, again, are in the supply bag, and you're going to turn in the supply bag to the web box, which is located in the main office, or to me, or to Miss Lewis, either one of us. So I hope you enjoy the lesson. Have a good time with it. Remember, the way that you are is a really big factor in terms of how they're going to respond to this lesson, and do have fun with it. And we'll see you all soon. Thanks.